part of the planning commission.
Nah.
Might want to partake in that.
You have the correspondence in front of you.
You sure?
One of them is.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Pownell Select Board Meeting, June
Hi, Fred.
23rd. Thank you, Fred. June 23rd, 2022 at 7 PM. I'd like to call the order. Board member roll call. Mike Gardner.
Angie Rowling,
Jamie Percy.
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris. Love the echo.
Approval of the agenda. Public comment. Approval of minutes of June 9th, 2022 Select Board Meeting, June 16th Special Select Board Meeting, warrants, payroll, June 17th, June 24th, accounts payable, June 17th, June 24th, accounts payable, new town hall, June 23rd. Correspondence, excess weight permits, old business, select board meeting, time discussion, diesel emission reduction financial assistance program, sheriff's contract, discussion regarding cannabis next steps, Green Mountain Racetrack discussion, executive session legal, Haggerty versus town offer of judgment, executive session contract and cost sharing discussion, public comment adjourned. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
I'd like to open up public comment.
No hands.
Approval of minutes of June 9th, 2022, select board meeting.
So moved,
Second it.
Any discussion and corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes of June 16th, 2022, special select board meeting.
so moved,
Second.
Any corrections, discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Warrants, payroll, June 17th, 22, $13,770.10.
So moved,
Second it.
Corrections, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
June 24th, 22, $13,196.34.
so moved,
Second it.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Accounts payable, June 17th, $43,881.38.
So moved,
Second it.
Discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable, June 24th, $34,747.84.
so moved,
Second it.
Discussion, questions? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Accounts payable in the new town hall, June 23rd, 22, $8,660.95.
So moved,
Second it.
All those in favor?
aye.
Correspondence is from Ellen, correct?
Yeah, and there's one from me as well. One from me is the BCRC.
Oh, okay. Yep. I missed that one. To the Board of Selectmen this is from Ellen, reference tax sale, June 17th, 22, from Ellen Stromeyer, delinquent tax collector. She's requesting the board to appoint a select person to attend the next scheduled tax sale dated July 19th, 2022 at 10 a.m. At this time, there will be 3 parcels. These parcels were removed from the tax sale in June.
18th.
That's a Tuesday,
All right.
I can't, I'm working.
I can,
Can you make it or you want me?
no, I should be here.
Okay.
Let's do the same thing, whatever, both of us, that's fine, unless somebody else wants to. Everybody else has a daytime job right now. Jamie does too. I can make that work for myself. Okay. This is from Tara. We received one submission for our Muni grant RFQ. It was from the BCRC and is attached. Do you accept their submission and approve them moving forward with the project? Everybody read that from Jim
Yep.
Sullivan?
Yep,
What's your pleasure?
I'll nominate the BCRC as our municipal planning grant consultant.
Second it.
Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We don't have any excess weight permits?
Okay.
Old business.
I had a couple questions.
Let's hope we have the answers. Yeah.
I wanted to know if the cameras were bought and have been put up.
So the cameras have been purchased, and now that Hannah and I have our work phones, we can hook them up. And I've asked Derek Taylor to climb and put the cameras in so that people can't steal them.
And then my second part to that question is, will there be somebody that will check on them on a, like a schedule, like once a month, or I don't know anything about,
So the pictures will go to the cloud on our phones, and then yes, we'll.
like if you see something happening, then you would go get the phone and check it?
Yes.
Okay.
I can show you some right now if you want. No,
Yeah, like they come through, and then we would.
they come through to the phone right away.
Site and probably our buildings and grounds guy could go and check on the
Okay.
actual cameras themselves when necessary.
Make sure it's still there, not smashed.
And then I wanted to know if we had heard anything back from the lawyer on the solid waste ordinance.
Not yet.
No, he's
Nothing.
not responded yet.
Hasn't responded
He
yet.
almost sent out like 2 days after that meeting.
Correct.
Back in.
Okay. And then my third question was, has the dog kennel been ordered and has the prep work been done or started?
I talked to Joel just maybe a week ago, and him and Tom and Leonard have been, working out the site where it's gonna go. They've been talking with each other. It is ordered and it should be here at the earliest, July 28th, I believe. That's the earliest it'll be here. But everything is going to plan on that so far.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Select board meeting time discussion. This was kind of me. I knew I put something on here. In light of our meetings running fairly late, because we have a lot of stuff on them, I've contemplated changing our meeting time to 6 o'clock instead of 7. I talked with both Tara and Hannah about this, and they were both pretty comfortable with changing that time. I don't know if everybody can make it, but I'd like to change the time from 7 o'clock to a 6 o'clock start.
Majority of the time I should have no problem.
I'd say the majority of the time I'm okay with that, but what about 6:30, kind of somewhere in the middle? And the reason I say that is I know that probably I'm the traveler among the group, and then travel seems to be picking up again now that COVID is dying down. And I will often be on central time zone. And that means calling in at 6 is calling in at 5. And I'll just be leaving a customer. But I don't want it to hinge on me.
Well, I think that's why we're having a discussion. That's why I wanted to originate this, Bob, because it's like, if we can't have a full board participation most of the time, I mean, and there's times when everybody's going to be absent, let's face it. Right.
Yep.
But for the majority of the time, if 6:30 is going to work, then it's, I think both of them have families. It does, for Angie and other people who have to get up at, getting out of here at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Whereas if we even start a half an hour early, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock versus, so hey, I'm up for anything. 6 o'clock just popped in my head, but I'm certainly open for discussion, and that's why we're doing it.
Well, I'm going to contradict myself then. And that is, even though what I said is true, I think there's probably more benefit to 6 o'clock. I should have enough visibility to where I'm going to be if we have to reschedule one for 7 because I'm in a different time zone or whatever. We can always do that on a case by case, and that's probably better. So I'm in agreement with 6.
Anybody else have a question, comment? I mean, I seriously,
Can we start at 6 and have a stop at 9?
Hard stop.
well, I
Hard
think,
stop at 9? Hard stop at 9?
It's hard to do that when you get going
Unless
and you're in the middle of the
there's
jet.
an executive for lawyer or whatever.
I don't-
mean, legal, that's different.
we can do whatever the board wants, okay, obviously, because that's what we are, is we're a board, and boards make decisions and we all have to follow that. I personally have a problem with a hard stop because if we're in the middle of something that's very important.
Just,
Well, obviously you wouldn't
You're
stop.
just kicking the can down the road
But
to the
if
next
if we say we have a hard stop at 9 o'clock, then we have to stick with a hard stop at 9 o'clock.
Well, how about
Kind of-
hard stop at 9 o'clock unless the board votes to go beyond? And we would have, but it would force us to actually say, do we really need to be here past 9 o'clock? Or what else can we remove or put off on the agenda? Because if we have 6 more agenda items, how many of those are really crucial for that evening? You know,
Well,
And it
why don't
just
we
adds-
start with 6 o'clock?
Starting at 6
Yeah, 6, probably 9 is more doable if we start at 6.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're getting our stuff done. We're getting a little more.
I just went back and got it.
Continue to try to, with the agenda, send out that sort of lengthy paragraph that says, that kind of touches on things to think about before we're here. I think that moves things along.
I think that was.
That was awesome because it gives us a reminder.
It reminded me to be here for 6 today.
Yes.
Perfect.
I don't know if we need to vote on that.
I think we should.
Then that's perfect. Then we will.
Only because for the public.
I'll entertain a motion to, at our next regularly scheduled select board meeting, that we start at 6 P.M.
to our future meetings.
in all future regular meetings. Now, special meetings, we may change, but, all of our regular select board meetings from here on in, we start at 6 o'clock.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Angie wants a hard stop.
And we can certainly.
If we start at 6, we should be done for,
We should be fine.
yes.
Was Joel coming in, Joel Burrington, about the waiting room?
Sent an email.
No, I told him that he didn't necessarily have to be here because I'm aware of the program.
Then you go.
And that's why he sent the letter.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to cut him out if he was zooming.
No,
No, I understand it all and everything. So for a new loader, it's $225,000, correct? $54,092 for the grant.
yep,
So that leaves a total of $170,908 left. We only have 12,000 in the equipment, but only 6 of that is for the roller. Have we received the roller yet? And paid for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that 6 would be 12 then. I don't think that we should take the whole equipment fund out of there. I think we should leave like 6 or 12,000. So anyways, I just used the amount of 100,000 from the equipment fund. That still means that we would have to finance $70,908.
Well, I think I want to hear Tara's presentation on this because she has been working with.
so he said that he could also get some scrap value out of it after.
Right, but do we know how much that is or
He
no?
said around 10,000.
Okay,
And he also said that you guys were in talks about purchasing the loader over the last year or two, and that most of the things that we're paying on have come off. We're only paying on one vehicle currently.
And the pickup now, I think.
And he said we usually tend to keep two payments.
2 payments?
Yeah. So I didn't have a lot of information other than that. Other than what he sent to you.
This isn't a guarantee. This is only a,
It's not a guaranteed, but we are basically kind of like a shoe-in for it.
I mean, I read the whole
It's-
thing.
Yeah, it's more than likely ours, if you guys choose to go that direction.
I talked with Joel about this the other day, actually. The other day when the wind was blowing like crazy, I happened to be driving down Cedar Hill Road and he came up behind me because they had a complaint from Tara. Not a complaint, but a call about a tree in the road.
Damn.
And they were like 2 minutes behind me. It's like, Jesus, that was quick. But anyways, we kind of got talking about it as I was helping him and Mike cut the tree and throw it out of the road. The loader does have 16,000 hours on it. It's never had, we've never had any
Major issues yet.
motor work or anything done to it. It's original. which is a testament to the way the guys keep stuff up anyways, okay, let's face that.
Yes.
You know, they're maintaining the equipment, that's for sure, you know, to get 16,000 hours. But my concern and Joel's concern was not so much in the summertime when you're loading gravel and whatever, that's not as critical as in the winter on.
Salt.
Yep, you know, sand and salt. It's really difficult, and I've done it, to load those trucks with the backhoes. It's just a lot more time consuming. So that's kind of, you know, his, you know,
What yard bucket was he looking for? I didn't know if he spec'd that or.
I don't know if I don't think that's in here. That's just not,
It just said a new one was 225,000.
yeah.
Yeah,
A Cat 938, I'm assuming you can get different size buckets on it.
yes.
Yeah. That's,
Actually texting me.
Generally, they standard with a 4 yard.
Well, I didn't know if we should take the whole 112.
Right.
Because I know that in that same statement, he said that they spent almost $12,000 on another vehicle on the, maintenance, and I didn't want to take
Well,
and make
Right,
that
if you took it
zero.
down to zero,
Zero,
like,
and if something happened,
Right.
they wouldn't have any money to fix something. That's my only concern was
Right.
that you have to leave them some kind of money for
well, I think,
something if something happens.
right.
And I didn't know if we had gotten the roller or not yet. It had been paid for and,
It's mounted and they've been using it,
oh, good.
believe it or not.
I trust, I trust Joel's judgment.
Oh, I do 100%.
I know.
I was just letting people out there know what we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand, Ange, for sure.
The trade-in, they would only get like around 30,000 if they were to trade it in instead of going with this program, they would get less than. what
so
this
we're
program
probably
says.
looking at the most, probably 50,000, 55,000. Probably.
I just, you know, and Joel will understand where you're coming from.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
about not-
absolutely. I think they do a great job and I'm all for it. I just want people to realize what we're spending.
Right.
Right.
Well, somebody complimented him on the new truck, like the other day, and then it just worked out perfect that the one that it's replacing happened to be right there, and he said, well, that's the one it's replacing. They're like, wow. You know, so they could actually see them side by side, why we needed a new truck when they saw the old truck.
Right.
So was he looking for us to vote on this, Tara?
Yes, and he said it's 60 with scrappage.
60 with what?
Having my cell phone at the table.
Yeah.
Yes, and he would need you to sign this if you choose to do it.
What's the board's pleasure?
So we're looking for a motion to spend up to $60,000 in conjunction with other monies to replace the
Bucket loader.
bucket loader.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's, go ahead.
And we have until September 30th of 23 to purchase and spend the money, once we get the grant for
gotta
54,000.
apply for the grant now.
Correct.
That's the deadline's coming up.
I think it's more than 60,000, Bob,
Yeah.
because there's 112 in the equipment fund that we would be spending.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
Financing.
You're right. We would need to get 60,000 to add to the 112,000 that's in the fund, plus the grant in order to buy the truck.
That's right. I just want to make sure that we're very clear on that.
Very good call out. Thank you.
Yeah, we would be financing approximately $60,000.
A little bit more than what the grant is.
Right.
2,000 more than the grant is.
Yeah. Okay. What's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we borrow up to $60,000 to be applied towards the replacement of our current bucket loader. We would also spend the current fund that is approximately 112,000 to go towards that. And that's assuming that we get a grant.
And apply for this
Apply for the
diesel
grant.
emission financial assistance program.
All right, I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the notes on that come out.
I'll bet they come out good. Next item is the sheriff's contract. Did everybody read that?
I did.
So I would like to ask when was our last increase? I know we went from.
Last year.
we
It
went-
was last year.
Yeah, and that was substantial if I recall.
Yes, it was.
45. This is a 15%, a little more than a 15% increase.
But I'm sure, and I'm sure it's the gas prices and all that stuff on top of it.
Cause it was 50, right?
Right, and it went to 52.
52.
So that's 1560 a week.
Wait a minute, our current is 50? I thought our current was 45. I thought it went up to 45 the last time we talked about it. But maybe I might be remembering it wrong.
I thought the current was 40, maybe you're right, I can.
That was
Go
45.
grab the old one.
Now, right.
So anyways, $52 an hour times 40 hours a week, or excuse me, 30 hours a week is 1560 a week. So times 52 weeks a year, that's $81,000.
I'm sorry, what was it, times 30? 30 hours a week.
Yeah, 30 hours a week. Yep.
No, I'll just do 52. Yeah, so you're right, 81,000.
81,120 a year. I mean, it's about $6,240 a month
You were right, Bob.
with 4 weeks.
It was 45,000.
45, yeah.
It was 45 and now they've gone to 52.
$45
And
an
that,
hour
and
now.
the 45 was about a 10% increase at the time.
Right.
Right.
Something along those lines. I remember I had miscalculated it and somebody corrected me. And then, so that's, a considerable hourly increase year over year.
But the increase this year, I can understand due to just the fuel cost alone.
Right. And everybody's upping their pay, and I'm sure they're doing the same.
You wanna do it?
Mike's opening a window.
Gotta remember closing.
That didn't,
Mike just broke a window.
He just broke the clip out.
oh my God.
That anti-theft device didn't work.
It was more like the child safety thing.
Child safety thing. And they're paying.
They're just little pluggets. I had to push them.
Have William check into that.
His first job.
First
when
thing
he
to
was here.
fix when you get here.
No, it's hang the sign, fix the window.
Hang the paintings, all the pictures.
Sorry. So hot in here right now, it's crazy. Oh, yeah, it's about a 15, a little over 15% increase.
Yep.
And how many hours of patrol coverage is it for?
Well, we added extra money in the budget.
To try to get more hours.
Trying to get more hours, but
Increase,
we're gonna have
probably-
to. I think we wanted to go to 35 and now we're not gonna be able to.
So now it's gonna stay basically the same.
Stay at
thing,
30.
30 hours.
30.
But what's it state right now? Does it say,
It says 30 because it's based on the amount we have budgeted.
okay,
And this statement, we're missing June, correct? Cause that's not a
Yes.
fully, okay. I kept looking at it, I'm like, we're missing a month.
Yep.
So with the $52 an hour and the 30 hours a week is basically the same money that we budgeted for at $45 and 35 hours.
yep.
Right,
It's the same money. Just we're not getting the,
we're gonna go to
we're
30
not
hours.
getting the 5 extra hours that we were
Right.
hoping to get in our budget.
Exactly,
Right.
So it's basically the exact same money,
yep,
unfortunately.
yep.
What's your pleasure?
So I make a motion to accept the sheriff's contract at $52 an hour for 30 hours a week.
Any discussion?
How about a second?
I'll second.
I was hoping. I was waiting. Any discussion?
Do we ask the sheriff's office if the hourly rate is negotiable? I mean, is this just they put it out and everybody pays it? Because I mean, like we said, it's a 15% increase and it's coming off of a 10% increase. That means in the last 2 years, it's gone up 25% approximately. That seems considerable.
I think we could ask, I guess, Bob.
Or ask what's driving it. I mean, I know fuel is definitely gonna be part of it, but if you were driving, say, 90 miles a day while patrolling, or I guess it's more like 90 miles a. I'm not quite sure how to come up with that, but,
You know, fuel and retention pay, I think, with this new COVID world we live in, I believe are the two driving forces.
I'm just trying to justify it, that's all.
Me too, 15% increase is
It's hard to swallow.
substantial. That's a hard increase to swallow.
And if they hadn't had an increase in a while, then it would make more sense. But coming off of a 10% increase and directly into a 15% increase, I just want to ask the question. Can we vote on this? Do we have time to vote on it in the next meeting? And can we ask that question first?
I don't know when the contract's up, you, Tara?
It's the end of the month, 30th. June
That's what I
30th.
thought, June
We have
30th.
7 days.
Joel dropped it off, last week.
Bless you.
Excuse me, thank you.
I think that, I think that we're kind of under the wire,
Yeah,
unfortunately. I think it's a question that should be addressed next year prior to,
can we request that the contract be given to us 30 days prior?
that's exactly where I was headed, Angie. And I think
Okay.
we're coming under, we're going to be under a new, sheriff
Yes,
in Bennington County.
Yes.
Anyway,
come November.
come November. So I think that's a fair assessment to next year in May, ask the sheriff, whoever it is, to bring a new contract to us in May rather than 2 weeks before.
Exactly.
We have to sign it. So we can hash it out and ask questions such as what we want to ask tonight.
Right, because there's nobody here. I mean, I could call Joel on my phone, but
Well, yeah, I could too, but he's not the person to be asking.
Asking
to be
these
you know,
questions.
the-
Yes,
The
that's right.
question would be to be asking Chad Schmidt at this time, because
Correct.
he's the sheriff, but I think I think if we decide to sign this contract, I think when we send the signed copy, we request a new contract in May of next year.
30 days prior to.
Yeah, or at least 30 days prior, so that we can discuss it and hash it out and ask questions. It gives us a little time to ask some questions.
Ask a representative to be present.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Because they have in the past.
Yeah, Chad did sit in meetings
Yeah.
before. So.
Exactly. So,
and so hasn't Joel.
right.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty fair. And I agree with you. I think we need to ask these questions. Unfortunately, I don't know if we have a lot of time right now.
Right.
They're killing
Although
me.
I may have screwed up the math, if I'm doing it on just fuel alone, it's about, you know what, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because.
I do that too, Bob. Good choice sometimes for me.
Okay, we have a motion on the table.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I seconded.
Any more discussion? That was good discussion, actually.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. That was good discussion, to be honest with you. Discussion regarding cannabis next steps. We were all here the other night with Nelson on the 16th. What's the board's pleasure?
Well, my thought is,
Sorry about that. I apologize for not being here. I couldn't be, I had travel interruptions and on a plane on a tarmac and couldn't call. So I couldn't even let you know I couldn't make it. But I did watch portions of that meeting and read the minutes. One of the things that struck me is that there was one thing that was said, that if you have a violation in your background and, I guess I'm okay with if you get that expunged, if it was some lower level issue. But it sounded like Nelson said that those people with those issues go to the front of the line. And that didn't seem appropriate to me.
That's the state for you.
And it's the state. I mean, he's just telling us what the state is talking
Giving
about.
us the facts.
But Nelson also made it clear at the beginning that he's kind of been out of the loop on that part of the legislation for a little while, so.
I think there's a couple of things here on this. I think one thing is whether or not we opt in for the retail portion of it. And the town certainly spoke pretty
Strongly.
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 My feeling is we
about-
opt into the retail and we opt out of the commission because the commission, I don't think serves a purpose at this point.
Well, I think the commission, Brian, I disagree with that. Well, let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Because I think the commission could get a little more discussion. I think the town spoke pretty strong on the opt-in. So, you know,
Across the board, they did.
right, I'll entertain a motion, to opt into the retail portion.
So moved.
Do we gotta do them one at a time, or can we do these all at once?
Do them
the
separate.
retail, yeah, please do the
Second.
retail.
Any more discussion on that part of it? All those in favor?
Aye.
So now developing the local cannabis commission or board or whatever,
LCCC, Local Cannabis Control Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Commission.
I think the way I understand it is we're not gonna supersede the state unless we're a little bit stricter, I guess. But I also think that and I don't wanna over-govern anything, but in my opinion, if you have some local control, how, even if it's a minute amount, you still have some local control. And I don't think we have to decide how we're gonna create the commission tonight, because I think that's for some extensive discussion and how we do it, whether it's 2 people or 4 people or who it is or how we do that. I think it's a matter of whether or not we want to have a potential for local control. And my opinion is that we do have some local control over that. Tara?
Carl Strohmeyer shared a really good thought after the last meeting. He was saying that he thinks a whole commission dedicated to it might be a little bit of an overkill. But since the DRB looks at permits, business permits anyways, there will be some oversight regardless of the business that's coming. And then if we could treat it sort of like we do the liquor licenses where the select board approves what comes from the state because they're doing such extensive background checks and things like that. Maybe the secondary approval on the license piece of it by you guys, and then the business oversight by the DRB. That was his idea and the other boards kind of seem to share that opinion that maybe a whole commission dedicated to it might be a little bit too much. And finding people to be on it.
Well, I think, right, and I think that's a discussion that needs to be probably longer than we want to spend on it tonight, because I think we should give it some thought.
So tonight, we're just discussing whether or not we want an LCCC
I think so.
and not discussing how we go about it or who we appoint to that.
I think so, Bob, because I think it could be an extensive discussion on how we do it, who gets appointed to it. I think I would hope that every one of us has some different opinions on all of it. You know, who is, who isn't, how you do it, how you set it up, how many years is it? Is it revolving? I think there's a pretty extensive, might not be.
And I hate to say it, but I'm really not all that clear yet and even though I read the minutes and I watched the meeting and I read some of the documentation, I'm really not all that clear on the pros and cons of having the commission.
Well, I don't think.
That's my feeling on it.
And yeah,
Honestly,
I can reach out to the state and let them know that you have voted to opt in and send them the evidence and then ask them for further guidance on the local commission piece.
and hopefully they're not, I mean, I don't want a sales pitch on it. What I really want is pros and cons.
Right.
Here's what some have experienced, it's the bad side, but here's the good side. Because, I mean, everything has pros and cons, and that's really what we have to weigh for Pownell and come up with the most responsible way.
as a right,
Right, and I was listening to Nelson the other night and he came up with his, with his opinion, which is kind of the same opinion that I am, if you have some local control, is always better than not having any local control. Hannah?
I think my take on it from listening to Tara and just like the training we did and stuff, like whether you have the LCCC or not, the state's still gonna do what they're gonna do. The LCCC is really just a point of contact, like you're
Yes.
getting it.
From the state, right?
Right.
Yeah, because if you don't have it, the same things are still gonna happen.
just somebody else.
But if they have a person to contact, you'll know what's going on
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise the town will still know, but not until after.
after the fact,
It's a permit, so,
right?
Till they,
To me, that's a huge pro,
yeah.
right.
but there very well could be some huge cons out there too, that we're not.
I mean, right now Chester, I think, is the only other town that has a, local CCC. We've already appointed Tara to be our contact presently to the Cannabis Control Board upstate.
I think we, let's, I hate to table stuff. Ugh. Let's put that off to the next meeting, our next regular meeting.
Okay.
The local control commission, and then we'll put that on the agenda for then. And, we'll discuss it at length and decide whether we do or don't. And then we can decide if we do, then who it is. And I don't necessarily, disagree with the DRB, because they're the licensing portion of it anyway that handles, that the permits and all that kind of stuff anyway, so.
Nelson said he was gonna give you a contact person, name and number.
He did.
He did.
Did you contact that person? Do they know anything about the
I haven't been
commission?
able to get in touch with them yet, but
Okay.
I will.
I was just
do
wondering if they
everything.
had
Yeah,
Been busy.
an
that's-
opinion on that, like if it's,
that's a great contact for Tara to
okay,
reach out to.
thank you.
So I think we'll put the local control commission onto the next agenda, and then we can tackle it then and take care of it
Okay.
on our next regular board meeting.
The other question I had was, on that town vote, was retail, growth, and farming, all three of them.
You can't opt into the cultivation or any of the other parts of it. You can only opt in to.
For
Retail right
The
now?
growing's gonna happen whether you like it or not.
Right,
Okay, well, like,
right.
that's why.
The only way that we have control is through the board for like fencing and stuff
Yes.
like that.
But it can't be anything that's targeted specifically at the cultivation.
Right, if we do
No,
it
I
for them, we have to do it
understand
for
all that. I
all
just-
business.
Exactly.
But I was, that's where I was going.
Setback, signage restrictions, hour restrictions.
Right.
Anything like that has to be across the board.
Yep,
Right. We can't. No,
You can't even just hold up somebody's permit application. No, you can't stonewall
no, I think I would love to get 10% for the town, but if we did it for that, we'd have to do it for everybody.
them.
Right. But the state should
I
have
have
taken care of
businesses in
that.
town
No,
that
you do
even
not.
have that.
And the state might come back and say, oh, we've decided to give municipalities some, but opting in makes it so we're not preventing businesses.
Right.
Right,
That's the biggest.
So hopefully we get some at least tax revenue of business
some
development
sort.
property and
Eventually here.
So wait a minute, not opting in means that that they can't open a retail shop?
Yes.
but they can still open a
Oh,
cultivation.
I'm sorry, opting in, I'm confusing opting in with LCCC.
Okay,
You can opt in without an LCCC.
yes.
Right,
Right,
yes.
we just did.
And we just.
yes, okay.
Any more on the cannabis? We all good with that?
Yep,
Green Mountain Racetrack discussion. I don't wanna spend a whole bunch of time on this tonight because I don't think we're totally prepared for it, but, let's talk about that.
So, my opinion is that, and even though I know, Mike, you like to move quickly, I'm gonna be of the opinion that we need to slow down. I think it's too early to even schedule a public hearing. A public hearing, which we currently talked about as the 21st of July.
I don't think we talked, it's not really a public hearing.
But my point is, we had that original meeting and the individual here did a good job presenting the stuff, but it was a very long sales pitch. And we gave up a large portion of our select board meeting on a sales pitch that I think we should have vetted a little bit more before it came before us. And giving them something like 10 minutes or something, or even have them just send the information for us to read first to decide if we wanted to put them on the agenda. I think we need to be careful. I think we need to be careful. I just think we need to slow down. When we say we're soliciting public input, which is what we said about that July 21st meeting, whether it's an official public hearing or not, sends an implicit message that we're in favor of this. And I don't think we've really said that yet.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit, obviously, which is okay. I've given this some thought, Bob, because I know we did have our, we kind of see it from a different light. I think having a meeting on public input, no matter what happens, I don't want anybody to think that me or this board is pushing any sort of a project right now forward with anything. I do, however, think that the town and the residents and past select boards, and me being on a couple of them, and this one here, I think have sat on this project or the racetrack for too long. I think it's time that we, as a board, owe it to our town. And stuff to, and I mean, I know it's private property. I totally understand that. But it's also one of those properties right now that I'm still very concerned about the building that's still standing, that we've had, promises of a fence. We've had promises of other things. A lot of those firemen and rescue squad people that respond down there, I was involved with those people, not some of the new ones, obviously, but they're my family. And I have a huge problem still sitting there, not doing anything about the building that's there, that's extremely dangerous.
To be clear, I'm not against something about the building.
Oh, I know you're not.
But I am, I think the board has, this board and previous boards has expressed a lot of concern about assuming ownership and responsibility for that property. It is private property, and so far, every discussion we have has not engaged or involved the owners of the property. There's a lot of things to talk about on this, and it's not against moving forward, but no matter what, this is going to move slowly, and we heard that from the person giving the presentation.
A lot of work.
There are a lot of moving parts and a lot of risk, and I always have a lot of concern, in fact, a lot of opposition, when essentially what that's going to do, if we assume ownership of that property, which all of it hinges on that, is one, it transfers risk for somebody else's benefit to the taxpayers of Pownell. And if there is a possibility that once we own that property, that nothing else moves forward, and now the taxpayers are on the hook for remediation of the property. That's the huge risk that I see, and I think that needs a lot of vetting before we need to have concrete answers of all the steps that are going to occur before we can even have a really in-depth discussion on it. it's a old saying is there's nothing more dangerous than people making decisions who risk nothing for being wrong. And that sort of assumption of risk by the municipality increases decisions made by those who can now defer a lot of their risk assessment to someone else. I think there's a lot of danger here, and I think we just, all I'm saying is we can have a meeting on the 21st that is exactly for this, but we need to have a lot of answers, and we can't spin it as a public hearing or as public input. The public is always welcome to give us an input, right? It made an above the fold article in the banner, so people are aware that this is on the table. There's nothing preventing people from calling into select board meetings, this one or that one, and giving their input on them. I just need to, I really think there is a lot of, I cannot stress enough that there's a lot of risk here. And we need to talk about motivations and everything else. I mean, all of the things that could happen. The reason I laid that out as, well, one of the things that bugged me when I read it, and I got to go back and review the meeting when I read it in the banner, is that with support from the individual who made the presentation, we might be able to talk the LLC that owns the racetrack into selling to Pownell. Well, we never even expressed a desire to assume that property, and I would think that I'm just guessing. I can't speak for the private ownership, but I would think that losing ownership of that property that's very difficult to do anything with would be a huge benefit to that to the owners of the property immediately. I don't think there's a lot of convincing to do there if that's what we were going to do. So I have a lot of concerns, and I really think this needs to slow down. This is way too big.
Well, I don't think anybody's trying to really force anything. My opinion, Bob, is that my opinion is we really need, and I'm not saying that we need to go fast, but we just need to start moving forward with the racetrack property.
Perhaps, but I don't think the right way to do it is to have somebody who's giving us the sales pitch there to answer questions from the public. Because now we've elevated essentially the salesman to a position of answering for the town. I think we need to go through the legal aspects of what will it take to acquire this property? What grants are available? Should we acquire the property? What steps need to happen? All of those steps in order for that to become a realization. There's a lot of things about the viability of it that I have problems with too, and I've looked at the proposal.
Well, I think that having someone come in and with some sort of a proposal, and then I agree with you on the public comment portion of it, of anybody that's given the proposal not answering the questions. I think the questions should be directed, or the comments should be directed to the select board.
I agree totally.
Oh, that's where we answer any questions from the public.
And that means we have a lot of research to do in 21 days.
Have we heard from the property owner recently? No. When was the last time the town or our attorneys attempted to contact them?
And I'm not sure, but that's also a big concern.
Well, that would be one of
Discussions are-
I think we should at least invite a representative from them to come talk to us. Just for all we know, they could already have plans in the works to do something with it.
I don't think they've gotten back to the fire safety either, because nothing's happened.
Brian,
I know it's been years.
No, it's not, it hasn't been years. It's been months since anyone's heard, as far as I know. It's been months since anyone's heard from the property owner's designated contact person. The last time was about the fence going up. They came here, they couldn't open the gate or something. There was but they couldn't get the lock to open or whatever, didn't know how to get into the lock. That
The
was.
people fishing don't seem to have a problem getting that gate
Well,
open.
I'm not gonna speculate. I've personally talked to, the contact person. I've talked to Steve Solar. You know, he's given me some, hope in the past, but it's been 6-8 months since I've had contact with him.
It's been years for me, and that was my experience, responsive for a couple of calls and
And then disappears for whatever. I think if nothing else, it'll get some interest going back in the property for whatever reason. You know, somebody's gonna come up with an idea or whatever, you know, and, you know, I think this is, you know, on the surface, sure, it's an awesome idea on the surface, and I agree with Bob, there's a lot of vetting that has to be done. There's a lot of legwork.
Yeah, it's a long, complicated process with a lot that can go wrong.
That's right,
there's a lot of risk.
Oh, that was
Well, that's why I was wondering if we've had contact with the property owner,
risk for the town.
because I think at the very least,
They should be here.
they should be here. At the very least, we should be like, hey, we had somebody propose this idea to us. Do you know anything about this?
Well, the bottom line is, I gotta bet that he knows that this is on the table.
Almost certainly, I would invite everybody to watch the Parks and Recs Committee meeting where this was first proposed and then it was sent over here. There is information on that. Please watch it. Watch the presentation.
But I made the paper. I'm sure that the property owners don't live in Bangladesh that don't have some sort of contact. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that the property owners and the designated contact person knows that there's some stuff going on that's on the table, potentially.
And I would assume that too, but you know what they say when you assume? I would just like to, at the very least, do our due diligence to extend a hand to the property owner that, hey, we're actively discussing this. Do you want to have a discussion with us? Even if it's just, they just send an email statement to us.
I can try to reach out to him.
I'm pretty positive that he's aware of it.
Well, that's probably true, but it's,
Let's reach out.
to me, there's no moving forward without engaging the owners.
No, I agree. Perfect.
Their consulting fee.
So you'll reach out,
Yeah, I'll reach out and see what I
okay,
can do.
see what you can do. Perfect.
Can we also reach out to wasn't the state fire marshal doing something about the property and they were, and I don't know where that stands now. Because they supposedly.
The last, Angie and I met with,
There you go, my
bring you
dear.
up to date on that, Bob. Angie and I were down there with the state fire
Take
marshal's
a
office.
picture. Can't have them. Just
And
take a
I
picture.
believe it was in October, right? Was it in October?
Yes.
And Rebecca, the three of us, I think it was just the three of us, right?
Yep.
With several representatives from the fire marshal's office. And at that point, what they told us was that they were turning the situation over to the state lawyers
Attorney General's office
to try to get,
or the lawyers for the fire and safety?
I don't remember, to be honest with you, Jamie.
I don't
what
think they
said.
specified. They
I
just
don't-
said they were gonna turn it over.
Yeah.
They
To
did
try to
every-
get the fence and try to get some stuff taken care of.
Yeah.
But that was in October,
Yeah, so it's
okay?
probably worth reaching out again and finding out where we are on that.
GJ Garrett was down. Who else did you have?
Matt
It was,
Jarowski, maybe?
GJ and then it was Michael DeRochers.
Oh, yep.
Mike Gerard.
Mike Dorsch was here.
Yep.
I don't think Matt was down, Jamie. And there was,
There's-
yeah.
I can't think of the other gentleman's name that used to be in Williamstown Fire Department. It's now on the working for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So let's reach out to them too, if we can, to the state fire marshal's office, see where they're at, please.
Will do.
Any more discussion on that?
Shouldn't you have on public comment before we go into executive?
Well, that's a good,
We open this.
Yeah, we can, open up public comment.
That was my bad.
That's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
we can open up public comment right now before we go into executive, and then we'll have a public comment session after executive.
So I would just like to say real quickly that if anybody doesn't know, the schoolhouse was moved. They did a phenomenal job. It was Gould, is that the right name? Gould
Yes, and
Yep.
flock cream,
and what?
flock cream.
Flock Cream. They did an amazing job. It was spectacular to watch. And I want to say thank you to Aaron and all of his crew.
And Tara has posted a tremendous amount of videos.
Everybody's done a tremendous amount of videos.
Down due to.
And also Eric and his crew
Comments down.
and the road crew. They did an amazing job. It was wonderful to watch, and I want to thank everybody.
I will say that to solidify that, I will say that they had the road closure hours on there, to 3 o'clock. And at 2:58, the road was opened. And I don't know if you ever see that anymore in today's world. I will say
It was real
that
close there.
it was
for a
close,
while.
but they had the road open at 2:58. They were, that's when the road crew opened the road up. And I think it was a tremendously professional job all the way through. There was no, there was no downtime. I think they worked the whole time they were here.
And they were here
yeah, they
till
seem to
9
be
PM.
Were they here that late? I left at 6:30.
Yeah, the crane setting crew, they worked late when, yeah, they were here, which is kind of unheard of in today's world anyways, but.
Right. They did a
It
12-hour
was really
day.
cool to watch.
It was.
Really, it was definitely like historic, it was nice to be a part of it.
If you want to see a synopsis of it, there is a video on YouTube, and I don't know if we posted that or not from the channel.
Channel 3. Yep, they were here.
I
Yep.
have it all on video. I took it down because of some comments, but I might just post it on YouTube. That's probably a better option.
I had a public person ask me if we're gonna have the primary vote in there, if it'd be ready by then.
Not for
Not
August.
primary, but for November.
I just figured I'd put it out there.
I think they're shooting for November.
Yeah, they are.
They're shooting for November.
That'll be pretty cool.
They had a lot of the as much preliminary work done. Obviously, there's some support walls and whatever done before it even got moved over here, so. I know they're pushing.
Well, they did a good job.
Yep, they sure did.
And as far as I'm concerned, put your videos back on our thing and just shut comments off for it.
No, she means there was comments in the video.
No, it was on the
Oh, it
videos
was-
because I couldn't post it to the town. I posted it to my personal page
Oh.
and then I couldn't figure out how to turn the comments off on my personal page. So I just took it all down.
All right.
Got misunderstood.
Okay, Rick, is there anybody raising their hand?
Anybody raising their hand for public comment?
Nope.
I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session for legal, Haggerty versus town offer of a judgment.
And there won't be any action taken on that?
We're not sure, there might be.
There might be
Okay.
action.
Just so we announce it to the public.
Yep, there may be action.
Okay. Did you make a motion?
So move.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be quick too. I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session for legal, Haggerty, town offer of judgment.
So moved.
Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve an offer of judgment in the amount of $5,802 payable from town funds if accepted to attempt to resolve the Leo Haggerty lawsuit.
Second it.
Any discussion, questions? All those,
If, the only thing I would say about it is it's the $5,400 stipend plus legal, plus some amount for legal.
that's right, it's a $5,400 stipend that, for his term of employment or work. Appointed, whatever, however you want to say it, his term of appointment, I guess, would be
As help.
as health officer. That's right, okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for contract and cost sharing discussion.
So moved.
Second it. Motion to come out of executive session.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
We're going to invite Cat TV to our July 11th or 14th or July 14th meeting. A representative from Cat TV to that meeting. I'd like to open up public comment this time.
Anybody out there?
Four all in, and I'm not one of them. So, yeah, there can only be one.
No public comment here?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Thank you everyone for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What's this?